friends, it's Hannah, and today we are filming all of the romance books that I want to read in the month of February. I've got my little heart sweater on from Target. So first up is one that I have been wanting to read for a long time now. However, no one will tell me if I need to read Caraval or not. I read the first book when it first came out, and then I just never continued on with the series, mostly just because I was waiting and I forgot about it. I really want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, so this is basically all about love. I have all three of the books, so I can binge them this month, and I'm really tempted to, even if I have to read Caraval first. I read the first one, but it's been years. It's like since it first came out, and I don't remember anything. So we'll see, but I really want to read this. It's a fantasy book. It's basically about this girl who kind of makes the deal with like a devil. So it follows our main character, and she has basically believed her entire life in happy endings and true love until her true love ends up trying to marry another person. So then she ends up making a deal with some sketchy people in exchange for his help, and of course there's some sketchy things that goes on with that. So I'm really excited for this. It's supposed to be very fun and fluffy, but also take place in the fantasy setting that I'm really excited to dive more into. Everyone is raving about this book, and I genuinely just need to hop on the train because I think I'm gonna love it. I've been a real romance cake recently, so I genuinely think I'm gonna adore this book, and I have all three, so I can binge all three, which is amazing, and I'm very excited for. This has been at the top of my TBR for God knows how long now. Next, I know that this author's first book was on my worst books of 2023 list, but I'm excited because I like the premise of this book and I'm excited for it. So it's Wildfire, and this is by Hannah Grace. I think now that I know what I'm going into with Hannah Grace's writing, I might enjoy it a lot more. I just hope there's more plot. That's all I hope for. But it takes place at a summer camp, following some characters that were kind of side characters in the first book. So hopefully this will be really good. I'm excited. They had a one-night stand, and then they basically don't see each other again until they're both counselors at a summer camp. So I'm excited. I'm gonna try to read this month because Hannah Grace is just one of those romance authors that's like a classic at this point that everyone loves. So I'm gonna give her another chance, especially because I love the premise of this, and all of her book covers are stunning. So next up is a book that I was gifted for Christmas by my friend, and that is Before We Were Strangers. This is by Renee Carland, and I don't really know too much about this except our two main characters met in the NYU dorm. So it takes place in New York, which if you know anything about me, I'm trying to read all of the New York romances because I love them and I want to move to New York this year. So that's the goal. So they basically knew each other in college, then they grew apart, and then they end up seeing each other again. So some things have happened to kind of draw them apart, and then they end up getting brought back together by the universe. So it kind of just follows their love story and how you can go from knowing someone really well to just growing apart from them, and they're now a stranger, which is crazy. Something I am slightly experiencing now that I've graduated college. Very unnerving, but I'm really excited for this to see how they reunite, what happened, and just their love story in general. It's a pretty short book, so I think I can fly through it pretty fast. I Have You Again. So this is by Kate Goldbeck. I don't really know too much about this except it follows our two main characters, and they seem to have a very interesting relationship because they're both seeing the same woman. Didn't really know about it until they find out about it. They end up striking up a friendship. All I've really heard, they're not really fit for each other, but I've heard that it's a fun story. I'm hoping that it's good, but it turns from like a friends with benefits type vibe to like something serious. So I'm excited to see where it goes and the whole journey because the back is like all over the place. So I know it takes place in New York, and that's about all that I need to know. But the tagline is, can they stop hating each other long enough to fall in love? Then we have one that I quite literally know nothing about because my friend convinced me to buy it. So she said that she was halfway through it and that I would love it, and I needed it. So I bought it. I'm on a book buying ban now, don't you worry. So I bought The Good Part by Sophie Cousins. It's a lot so magical realism and how you wish you could skip to the good part. So our main character kind of wishes that, and she ends up getting to skip to the good part. But is it really worth it? Because you miss so much of your life to get to this good part. I relate very heavily to this because I constantly say how I wish I would just know where I'm going because I have nothing in sight currently and it's scaring me. I'm just that type of person that needs my life planned out, and it's not currently. But I think this is gonna be really interesting, and I'm really excited to jump back and forth and see. I think it's gonna be very much like a 13 going on 30 and also the 7-Year Slip vibe. And I just really love books with magical realism. I think they're so fun. I loved the 7-Year Slip last year. I think some books can do it well and others cannot. I read 2 books like that last year. I'm hoping for the best with this one. My friend said that I'm gonna love it, and she was only halfway through, and she basically put it in my hands and said, you will love this book. You need it. And now I have it. And finally finally, we're at the last book of my romances that I hope to read in February. And this isn't necessarily a romance. This is more so a memoir, and that is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I've heard so many good things about this book. It's on the top of my TBR. It's basically just about growing up and getting older and everything you need to know about all of those things, about how to navigate friendship and loss and love and just everything in between. So it talks a lot about early adulthood, which I am in currently, and I don't know what the hell is going on. So I feel like this is gonna help a lot. I've heard nothing but good things about this. Like, everyone just raves about it. So these are all the books that I hope to read, along with some arcs that I need to read, but I'm not including them in this video because these are all my physical TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye, guys.